Would you be okay with your friend doing business with your enemy?
You asking me?
Yeah.
I can't go to the MaxB party because you're my friend. Yeah.
Why?
Because you my friend, nigga.
What?
Yeah.
When Maino made the choice to publicly stand behind MaxB, the energy in the room shifted instantly because that move wasn't neutral, low-key, or accidental in any way. In hip-hop, choosing a side in a long-running situation is never just commentary, it's positioning. And that position placed direct pressure on Jim Jones, reopening wounds that never truly closed. The streets felt it right away. This wasn't some casual shout-out or sympathy post. It came off like a declaration of loyalty, memory, and accountability all wrapped into one. The MaxB situation has always weighed heavy in the culture. Time moved on, narratives changed, alliances evolved, but that core feeling never really left. When Maino spoke, it didn't sound like recycled internet chatter. It sounded like someone who'd been watching in silence, finally deciding the timing was right. And in hip-hop, timing speaks volumes. This timing was loud.
Let me explain something to you. I'm a loyal nigga at the end of the day. Before music, let me tell you something. Let me explain something to you, David. Mr. David.
Dawood. I'm Dawood on this podcast.
I like that.
It's crazy.
My Muslim brother. Check this out. At the end of the day, I'm a person that your enemies is my enemies. Because that's the love that I got for you. If we like that, then I'm gonna take on whatever it is that you got going on, and it's then I gotta feel the same way.
Maino didn't sidestep the topic. He didn't try to play both sides. He didn't smooth out the edges. He backed MaxB with full clarity. And clarity becomes risky when the history behind it is complicated. In street logic, clarity means you're ready for whatever follows next. That's why the reaction was immediate. Fans understood exactly what this meant. Supporting MaxB isn't just sympathy. It's reopening old loyalty debates, past decisions, and power plays from before. Jim Jones being tied to that history made everything instantly explosive. Once Maino said what he said, the internet didn't question why. Now they were asking why he was being so direct.
I understand that I got a relationship with him. So my whole thing is this, I really understand that I don't come from the same world a lot of people come from. If I got a relationship with you that extends past professionalism and it's personal, I'm at your home and I know your parents, right? I just don't feel right if you at odds with somebody else, right? Knowing that we got a personal relationship, going out my way to go congregate or party with them, right? Now, that's a choice. Seeing them somewhere else is not, right? Because two things can be true at the same time. I can respect my relationship that I got with you, but at the same time, it don't mean no disrespect to somebody else. It means that I'm just clear on where I stand.
What made this moment hit different is that Maino had already built a reputation for showing restraint in drama-heavy spaces. He's known for picking his moments carefully. So when he chose this one, it signaled real intention. The streets respect intention more than noise. This wasn't about chasing clicks. It was about drawing a line. And lines drawn in public don't fade quietly. They demand responses, reactions, and reevaluation. The culture immediately began replaying old clips, past interviews, and long-standing narratives. The MaxB story doesn't stand alone. It ties into Dipset history, Harlem politics, and deeper industry power moves. Maino reopening that door felt like a direct challenge to the accepted version of events. And once those accepted versions get questioned, chaos usually follows. That's exactly what happened here. Not because of insults, but because of loyalty. And loyalty cuts deeper than disrespect.
Dawood. I'm Dawood on this podcast.
I like that.
It's crazy.
My Muslim brother. Check this out. At the end of the day, I'm a person that your enemies is my enemies. Because that's the love that I got for you. If we like that, then I'm gonna take on whatever it is that you got going on, and then I gotta feel the same way.
As Maino's stance started circulating across social media, the streets began breaking down what backing MaxB actually meant in this moment. And the situation got heavier by the minute. This wasn't about freeing someone or revisiting a case from a legal standpoint. It was about moral alignment. In hip-hop, moral alignment carries more weight than explanations. MaxB has always represented raw talent interrupted. His name brings emotion, frustration, and unfinished business. Supporting him publicly isn't neutral, it signals belief. And belief directly calls past decisions into question from people who once had influence over him. That's where Jim Jones caught heat instantly. The streets didn't wait for clarification, they didn't need it. Maino's words were clear enough. And clarity removes deniability. That's why reactions weren't delayed. They were explosive. Fans debated whether Maino was right or wrong, but that missed the real point. The point was courage. Speaking on this publicly risked backlash, strained relationships, and long memory retaliation. Maino accepted that risk. It also showed how hip-hop accountability works differently now. Back then, these conversations stayed private. Now they unfold in public. And once that happens, silence starts to look like guilt, and responses become expected. Maino didn't accuse directly, but he didn't shield anyone either. That balance made the moment stronger. He spoke with conviction without throwing insults. And conviction travels further than anger. Jim Jones trending alongside MaxB again wasn't coincidence. It was consequence. In the streets, consequences don't wait for courtrooms. They show up in conversations, energy, and perception. And public perception. This moment also reminded everyone that time doesn't erase responsibility. Years go by, careers evolve, but unresolved history stays alive. And when somebody decides to bring it back into the spotlight, the culture pays attention. Maino backing MaxB felt like a message not just aimed at Jim Jones, but at the entire industry. Loyalty doesn't expire, memory doesn't fade, and silence doesn't always shield you. That's why this landed so hard. It wasn't loud, it was firm. And firm statements carry weight that jokes and rants simply can't. As the conversation got deeper, it became clear this wasn't just about three names. It was about how hip-hop remembers its own past. Maino's move forced people to confront how narratives get cleaned up over time. What once felt controversial slowly becomes accepted when nobody challenges it. Maino challenged it. The streets understand one rule clearly: whoever controls the narrative controls the memory. By backing MaxB, Maino disrupted a comfortable version of events that had settled over the years. Comfort breeds silence. Silence breeds revision. This moment also highlighted the power of timing. Maino didn't speak during peak chaos. He spoke when people were already questioning credibility and consistency in the culture, and that amplified everything. Fans noticed this wasn't emotional. It was calm. And calm statements tend to scare people more than angry ones. Angry feels temporary.
Calme file permanent.
The MaxB story has always carried emotional weight, especially for fans who saw him as a unique voice cut short. Maino tapping into that emotion without exploiting it made his stance feel authentic. Jim Jones, on the other hand, found himself reattached to a past he's tried to move beyond. That's the cost of history, you can't outrun it forever. This also showed how hip-hop loyalty isn't transactional for everybody. Some artists move based on principle, not benefit. Maino backing MaxB didn't gain him anything material, it gained him respect. And in the streets, respect matters more than clout. Clout fades. Respect sticks. The situation didn't escalate into insults or threats. It escalated into reflection. And reflection is dangerous because it forces uncomfortable questions. Questions that don't go away easily. This wasn't a beef starter, it was a pressure point. And pressure points shift behavior. That's why this felt bigger than a headline. It felt like a shift, by the time everything settled. Maino's decision to back MaxB had already reshaped the conversation. Whether people liked it or not, no diss tracks dropped, no screaming matches followed. But the energy stayed tense. And tension means something landed. The streets didn't see this as clout chasing. They saw it as alignment. Alignment with loyalty over convenience. Alignment with memory over revision. Alignment with speaking when it matters instead of when it's safe. Jim Jones didn't lose his career overnight, but the pressure definitely increased. Once old stories resurface, they don't disappear quietly again. They linger. This moment also reminded everyone that hip-hop history isn't closed, it's ongoing. People can reopen chapters whenever they choose, and when they do, the culture responds. Maino didn't ask for agreement. He simply stated where he stood. And standing on something publicly in this era takes backbone. The biggest takeaway isn't about picking sides. It's about understanding that silence isn't always neutral. Sometimes silence protects narratives that deserve to be questioned. By the time the noise settled, it was already clear that Maino backing MaxB wasn't just another hot take destined to fade in a news cycle. It shifted the entire temperature of the conversation. No diss records dropped. No screaming matches followed. No instant clapback flipped the narrative. And that silence told its own story. In hip-hop, when things get loud and then suddenly quiet, it usually means something hit harder than expected. This wasn't entertainment chaos. This was pressure settling in. The streets didn't treat Maino's stance as trend hopping. They saw it as alignment. Alignment with loyalty over convenience. Alignment with memory over revision. Alignment with principle over comfort. In an era where many artists choose neutrality to protect relationships, choosing a side, especially in a situation this layered, stands out immediately. Neutrality feels safe, but it also feels empty. Maino chose clarity instead, and clarity forces reactions whether people want them or not. What made this moment heavy is that it reopened a chapter many were comfortable keeping closed. Over time, narratives get polished, edges get softened, responsibility gets blurred. The culture moves forward and silence slowly turns into acceptance. Maino disrupted that process. He didn't accuse loudly, but he refused to forget quietly. And refusing to forget is one of the strongest moves you can make in a culture built on memory. For Jim Jones, this wasn't about losing a career overnight. It was about pressure returning. Pressure from questions that don't have easy answers. Pressure from fans revisiting old doubts. Pressure from the fact that history doesn't stay buried once someone credible brings it back into the light. In hip-hop, you can evolve, grow, and change. But unresolved history still follows you, waiting for the right moment to resurface. The culture didn't demand that everyone agree with Maino. Agreement wasn't the point. The point was disruption. Disrupting the idea that certain stories are settled forever. Disrupting the comfort that comes with time passing. Disrupting the belief that silence equals peace. That's why this moment won't fade quietly. Not because of beef, but because of what it represents. Loyalty being tested in public. Memory being activated. History being challenged instead of accepted. Those are the moments that shape conversations long after the clip stops circulating. In the end, this wasn't about picking sides for entertainment. It was about choosing honesty over convenience. And in a culture where convenience often wins, honesty stands out every time. If you stayed locked in all the way through, make sure to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss the next story the streets won't stop talking about.